Okay. Tripping. Film drawing. Wow, bloody hell. Yeah. That'd be nice. Right, yeah. In the 1920s, we had radio. There was radio, and there's a lot of songs broadcast. Like there was Underneath the Arches with Flanagan and Allen, and a lot of the old musical stars, because music hall was quite big music hall was really big in Victorian and stuff until the 1920s or whatever. So radio and all that, right? We're into the 1940s now. No, television now. I told you that in the last movie. Totally did that in the last movie. There'd be Flanagan Allen and stuff like that, and Charlie Chaplin, all that kind of crap went on. And then in the it wasn't until the 1950s that you got television. Yeah? In the 1950s, you got television. And there was just one channel, basically, BBC One. And you had the radios in the 1920s, didn't you? Yeah, that's right. You had the radios in the 1920s with everything, talking and jazz and all music and talking and stuff. And for the first time ever, you had worldwide communication, basically, in the electrified countries. For the first time ever in the 1920s, you basically had worldwide communication with the radio. But when you got the television, did you throw the radio away? No, you didn't. But you got a television now, yeah? With one channel, whatever, or two channels, whatever. Yeah, the television. Yeah, it came out in the 1950s. Did you throw away the radio? No. Because radio played the music. And sometimes you had people play music on television, making videos or making films, on television. And in films, there was a lot of music in films, like you had music, because now since the 1930s, you had, or 20s or whatever, you had sound, you had loads of fucking films and great big fucking musical. Do you remember the MGM musicals, man? Do you remember the old MGM musicals, the old black and white MGM musicals? Because for the first time ever in the 1950s sort of thing, you had television. Television. Yeah, right. In the 1950s, first time ever you had television. No, in the theatre. Sorry, you had theatre in the 30s, didn't you? Sorry, 30s and 40s and 50s. You had the theatre. So they were making film. They were making musicals. A lot of musicals in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. Do you remember the musicals? The old black and white musicals, MGM musicals in the 30s and 40s and 50s. Big fucking glamorous musicals they made in the 30s and 40s and 50s. But they were all in black and white. Yeah, they were all in black and white. Do you know what I would love to see? Do you know what I think you should do? Now that you've got the technology in 2016, now you've got the technology. Imagine not remaking films. You know the MGM musicals, the big glamorous stuff they did in the 1930s and 40s and 50s and whatever. Especially in the 40s and 50s, 30s, 40s, 50s. When you got sound on black and white films. And they did really, really, MGM did magnificent fucking big fucking shows. Because they had music, because you could play music now. Now you could play music in the theatre. In the 40s and 30s, you could play music in the theatre, so they had musical shows. What you could do now is colorise them. Because they were all filmed in black and white. All these MGM musicals. Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers. Do you remember that? Things like that. Frank Sinatra in the 1940s. You remember the 1940s with things like Frank Sinatra, and you had what's his name? Marlon Brando in the 60s. You had Marlon Brando in the 60s. Humphrey Bogart in the 40s, I think it was 40s and 50s. I think Humphrey Bogart was in the 50s. And he had all these big sort of anyway, there was a lot, about musicals. What would be a good idea for musicals would be to colorise them. Do you remember the big MGM musicals? Musicals were really big in the 1940s. And comedy was really big. Do you remember the Marx Brothers in the 1930s? Do you remember the Marx Brothers? Do you remember the Marx Brothers? Why, now you've got computers, what would be a brilliant idea would be to add colour to the Marx Brothers movies. Yeah? And also maybe add a bit of music as well. You could maybe add... No, leave the music as it is. The music's good as it is. But you could colorise the Marx Brothers music. You should do that now. You've got the computers and stuff like that. But what I would like to see is some of the MGM musicals. You know the big glamorous MGM musicals used to have? But they were all in black and white, but on big stages and shit. And some of them were fantastic, man. Some of them were absolutely fantastic. You could colorise all them, you know, all the pink feathers and stuff. Because they were all made in black and white, so you could add colour to them now, couldn't you? You probably have done, haven't you? And we're going to talk about technology anyway. Okay. See what I'm saying about the time tube and stuff. Anyway, in the, yeah. And then we had television in the 50s, like in the 50s. And they used to watch these musicals on television. You see, for the first time ever, because now you had television, you could actually, in the 60s, so in the 60s, you had 3 channels and stuff. But because you had television in the 50s and 60s, you could watch these black and white, there was lots of black and white musicals, Broadway musicals. There's lots of Broadway black and white musicals on television in the 1950s and 60s. Yeah, in the 50s, you know, the 60s. And you could colorise them now, couldn't you, with your technology? That'd be good to watch again. Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers, all that kind of thing. It's all on YouTube, probably. It's probably already on YouTube, actually, maybe. But it'd be nice to have sort of like, you know, be able to watch them in colour. Anyway, technology-wise, yeah, I was talking about technology. Anyway, in the 60s, you had LSD. But LSD got made illegal, you know. I was born in 66, so we're in 66. I was born in 66. But I got Robert's, I'll tell you about that's on the other, Family's on the other film. There's another film about family. We're talking about technology. So anyway, yeah. So in the 60s, I've talked about this already, have I? Probably. Still going down the tube. But anyway, then we had computers in the 80s, and then sort of we had computers in the 80s, and like I said, it's 81s, and then we had the mobile phone. In fact, you know, actually, talk about technology, like now it's advanced so far. I think I've probably done all this before, haven't I? I'm just talking to myself, probably. Coming down a bit. Yeah, but that was really good. And the 70s were fucking fantastic, man. The 70s were good, technology-wise. You know, that's yeah. We had computer games. That's what computer games actually. It wasn't until the 70s that we had the first computer games. Actually, believe it or not, you got games on your phones now everywhere. You know, but it wasn't until the 1970s that you actually had computer game consoles. Yes, there's one in the 80s, like, but in the 70s, you had ping and pong. You know, these bats, black and white dots going across the screen. In the 1970s, computer games were like. You had a bat and a ball. You had 2 lines going up and down the screen. In the 1970s, 2 lines going up and down the screen, shooting a dot from one line to the other line, and you had tennis going bleep, bleep, bleep. That was computer games in the 1970s, man. And that was computer games in the 1970s was blip, 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 ping. It was pong. Was it pong? Ping. And then we had Atari. We had Atari in the late 70s or whatever. We had the Atari, and we had the game consoles with sort of like big, chunky block characters. You know, the original games. Robert, you remember that? Rob, Don, Jim, Jack. Everyone remembers this. Well, I come from a big family. There's 7 of us, you know. Mum and Dad made Jackie, James, Robert, William, Donald. Right, I'm William. Okay? I got 3 brothers. My big sister Jackie died in 2012. I say Jackie died in 2012. Blood clot in her brain. That's why I keep talking, so that I don't get a blood clot in my brain. You see, the reason I keep talking is so that I don't get a blood clot in my brain. You know what I mean? That's why I make movies and shit, so that I don't get my brain filled up, so I can process it down the computer, sort of thing, film it, and then it's out, and it's boom, like that. Clever technology, isn't it? This. But anyway, then we had the we had ping pong and that in the 70s. And the 80s, we had like ZX81 and stuff. No, that was the 80s. Well, no, the 80s we had things like ZX81 programmable computers. We didn't actually get mobile phones till about the 19... How did you get mobile phones? Probably about the year after the year 2000, actually. Because actually, yeah, that's right. We had radios. Anyway, we had radios, we had televisions, we had computer games, right? Computers, yeah. You destroyed the programmable computers. You destroyed the basic computers like ZX81. In the 80s, with the ZX81, you destroyed the ZX81 and the computers. Why? Why did you destroy everything? First we had radio. You still got radio now, haven't you? You had television. You computerised television. Destroyed television now. Computers. Now you've got no television. Why don't you keep technology? Instead of fucking replacing technology, keep the old technology. You still got a radio. You still got a radio, haven't you? Yeah, you got a radio? So why don't you still have a television? Why don't you still have a fucking analog television? Why don't you still have the VHS? Why don't you still have the computer? Why don't you still keep the technology flowing? Don't destroy technology, expand on it and let it broaden, let it grow. Don't destroy the technology of the past. Keep the past. Don't destroy the videos, keep the videos. Now I've got a video, I've got a television, it's 2015 fucking 16, sorry. I've got a television, I've got a video, I got a fucking radio at work. I got a mobile telephone. We didn't get the mobile telephones till the 1990s or 2000s. Probably the year 2000. How long have we had the mobile telephones? I mean, everybody having mobile telephones. That was probably 2000 and in the year 2004. We probably didn't even have these mobile telephones until 2004 or 2003 or something. It wasn't until after the millennium that everybody had a mobile telephone in their pocket. You take it for granted now. But in the 90s, we didn't have mobile telephones in the 1990s, did we? We did not have, most people did not have a mobile telephone in the 1990s, you see. Only in the year after the year 2000, you've had the mobile telephone, haven't you? You know, it was after the year 2000 you got the mobile telephone. And now you've got this Samsung Galaxy fucking webcam. Anyway, that's enough of me blabbering. I've been blabbering enough. And now you've got this fucking Galaxy, you know, these Apple iPods and stuff. I mean, you don't throw away the computer. You don't throw away the computer because you've got a mobile, because you've got the Galaxy iPad, because you've got this Galaxy phone, Samsung Galaxy. You don't throw away the computer, do you? No, you still got the computer, yeah? Because you upload it onto the computer, don't you? You upload it onto the computer, don't you? You upload your telephones onto your computer if you've got a computer, if you've got enough money. But you don't destroy the computer. You still got a computer? So I've got the Galaxy, I've got the computer, I've got the mobile phone, because I don't take a video camera to work. I don't want to take, and this is basically this Galaxy is excellent. I want you to put the camera in the middle of the screen though. But Galaxy is excellent because I can actually watch my films and shit on it. But anyway, I still like to keep my phone, so I've still got a telephone. I like to have a mobile telephone. I didn't get into mobile telephones till about 97. I didn't actually get a mobile telephone till about 1997. Even mobile telephones are quite new. And I've got a Galaxy thing as well, you know, the Galaxy thing as well, which I can now publish films directly onto YouTube, which is brilliant. In fact, Galaxy, this Samsung Galaxy thing, for the first time ever, I've got the technology now, in 2016 sort of thing, to publish films straight onto fucking bloody video, haven't I? I now have the technology to program this fucking to actually sort of like make a film and publish it directly onto YouTube. Amazing technology. And the way that's just happened in the last couple of years. You know, probably take this for granted as well. But what I'm saying is don't destroy technology. I've still got my videos. I've still got my fucking technology. I've still got my videotapes. And I live in this one room. I'll tell you a story in my room next. Let me tell you a story in my room next. Let's finish this film. This is enough about technology.